something that y'all been doing for quite a while, or done multiple times. And that's finding the equation of a line. There's two main ways that we find an equation of a line. Three are listed here. So 1, 4. Yep, right there. Two main equations that we have for finding the equation of a line. One of them is y equals mx plus b. We know y equals mx plus b form. Now, y equals mx plus b we call slope-intercept form. Do you all know why we call it slope-intercept form? Probably not been brought up. We just call it slope-intercept form and move on, yes? So if we look at the equation, the x and y are input-output. They're not actually, they are our words, Friday. Y is our dependent variable, x is our independent. Because we plug values in, pull values out. So we don't really consider them constants. They are straight values, yes? So the other main two things we have is m. What is m? M is the slope, yes? And b is the y-intercept. So the main two things we're plugging in there to get an equation of a line is slope and an intercept, yes? So we call it slope-intercept form because the main two components are the slope and intercept. They literally called it what it was. And slope-intercept form is what we write pretty much every single line or equation of a line in. Y equals mx plus b. Now, if we are not given a y-intercept, because if I'm given the y-intercept and slope, we can go straight to there, plug slope in, plug the y value of the intercept in, and we get that there. One thing to note, our y-intercept as a point is 0, b, 0, whatever that y value is, because the graph intersects the y-axis when x is 0. If we're not given this y-intercept, and we're given a point and the slope, we're going to use point slope for. Point and slope, again, they just named it exactly what it was. We can use it there. Kind of bringing back memories, some of what this is, for the most part. And we have these two here. So if I'm given a point and a slope, we're using point slope form. From here, we'll get it back to slope-intercept form. Get y by itself, multiply, simplify, do our steps. Have you all heard of two-point form? Probably not. I will show you what two-point form is. Do not write it. I don't use it. I think it's more complicated than it needs to be, or there's more stuff going on. Really, all it is point-slope form. But instead, of finding the slope and plugging it back into point slope form, we just stuck the slope formula into point slope. I would rather find the slope and then plug it into point slope than try to plug everything in there and try to keep all those numbers straight. A lot of stuff going on. The graph shows the distance asteroid 2012 DA14 travels in x seconds. Write an equation of a line and interpret the slope. The asteroid came within 17,200 miles of Earth in February 2013. About how long does it take the asteroid to travel that distance? So it asks just three things. Because as we're reading through this, the graph, write an equation of the line. Interpret the slope. Those are the first two things it asked. Then about how long does it take the asteroid to travel 17,200 miles? So we have three questions to answer, yes? So, first things first, we're either going to need to write an equation of a line or interpret the slope. Do we know what the slope is? No, but it might be good to go there first. Slope is Rm. As we know, it's delta y over delta x. Y'all probably never seen that before. In mathematics and a lot of the natural sciences fields, delta x, delta y, delta, we're talking about change. So delta y over delta x is all it's saying is the change in y over the change in x. That's all that symbol, that's all it's saying. We're wanting to know the change in y over the change in x. As we look at this graph here, they did give us a specific point, 5, 24. So the y value is 24, x value is 5. Because every point comes in the form x comma y. Because x comes before y in the alphabet. We do things in alphabetical order. We are given another point. What other point are we given? 0, 0, yes? It starts at the origin. So the other point we have is right here. So now we need to simplify this here. 24 minus 0 over 5 minus 0. 24 over 5. This does not reduce nicely. Two ways we can know. One, it reduces to 4.8, but we can leave it as 24 over 5. 5 is prime. Only factors are 1 in itself. 24 is not divisible by 5 because it's not a multiple of 5. So we have the slope, yes? And we need to get the slope to be able to find the equation of the line, yes? But before we do that, why don't we interpret the slope, because that's what it's asking for here, yes? So I'll label it as A just to identify.
May I have your attention, please? The library is closed for checking out books until further notice. Thank you.
So slope is our change of y over change in x. We're trying to say in words, interpret the slope. We're wanting to say in words what the slope is telling us. So if we look at the y-axis is miles, yes? The x-axis is time. So 24 over 5, we can say for every, our y value is what, 24? For every 24 what? Distance, what our distance is miles, yes? For every 24 miles, we're going what? Or it takes, yeah, for every 20. Yes, thank you. I kept wanting to do y first. For every 5 seconds, it travels 24 miles. Yeah, it's possible to do it the other way. It just feels weird. For every 24 miles, it takes 5 seconds. It sounds the same. It still works. It just feels a little weird. We normally say time first. Yeah, for every 5 seconds, it travels 24 miles. Mm-hmm. Yep. X-axis is normally time. Distance is y. We normally do that. I mean, there are some places where it's the amount time could be the y-axis, but it's few and far between. This is not the only way we can say it, because we said the value was also 4.8, yes? Yeah, for every 4.8, or it's, yeah, for every 4.8 mile, it travels 4.8 miles every second. Different ways to write it. You don't have to write both. And especially when it comes to the homework assignment, I am mainly looking to see, did you explain what the slope is saying? That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for exact wording. Yeah, we could say it travels 48 miles every 10 seconds. I mean, as long as it is exactly describing the slope, that's all I'm looking for. Second part, we need to find the equation of a line. Y equals mx plus b. Now the question is, why did I use that over slope intercept, or slope point? Because at this point here, do we know the slope? We do. Do we know what the y-intercept is? Yeah, because the y-intercept is 0, comma, the y value of the intercept. Because the y-intercept is the y value when x is 0. When x is 0, y is also 0, yes? So we plug the slope in, 24/5 x plus 0. Well, do we really need the plus 0? Y equals 24/5 x. That's algebra 2 in a whole. If you are not sure, you do not need to write this, because if we weren't sure on this, we could have gone to y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we could use the point they gave us, 24/5. And we'll do more of this here. You don't have to write this down. We'd multiply by 24/5. 24/5 times x is going to be 24/5 x. 24/5 times -5 is -24. Got to get y by itself. We get to the exact same thing. I went through that a little quick, and it's been at least a few years since you've done this here. Questions on any of this so far? Well, we have one more question to answer. About how long does it take it to travel 17,200 miles? Now the question is, x or y? Which one's our distance? Y. So I would replace y with 17,200. We want to know what x is, yes? So you were going to say we divide both sides by what? Because at this point here, we want to get what by itself? And currently the 24/5 is being multiplied by x, yes? So we would what? Divide by 24/5. Because 24/5 over 24/5 is 1. So 17,200 over 24/5 would be, we'll say x is approximately 3,583. What's our units? For it to travel 17,200 miles, it takes 3,583 seconds, approximately an hour. There's 3,600 seconds in an hour. 60 times 60. Yeah. It takes 59.72 minutes. 0.9953 hours. And they're like, okay, cool. That is stupid fast. We would agree with that there. Because I think I calculated it last year, it would take about 8 seconds to get from here to Siloam. Or less than that, actually. Oh, yeah, because you're traveling, because 24 miles from here to Siloam, that's even, if it was 24 miles from here to Siloam, you're getting there in 5 seconds. Yeah, it's about normally 70 miles an hour, hour and a half, so 100 miles to get to Tulsa. So 24, 48, 72, 96. So you could get there in about 20 seconds. Yeah. Questions on this here so far? They're just taking pictures for the yearbook. So the graph shows the remaining balance on Y on a car loan after making X monthly payments. Write an equation of the line, interpret the slope and Y-intercept. So we're actually going to have to describe what both mean. And what is the remaining balance after 36 payments? So need a few things. Write an equation. Interpret the slope and y-intercept, and then figure out what the remaining balance is, yes? Well, for us to find an equation, we need to know the, yes? Huh? That's fine. Yeah. Sweet. I will have those videos posted. We'll talk about it. We'll probably finish this one for sure, and we'll probably get most of the way through that one or finish that one. Yeah. Slope, yes? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. This is the straight form we use, yes? What's our Y value? Or one of the Y values they gave us? Yeah, we can use 18. Mm-hmm. Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Whichever y value we pick first, its x value has to go first. Since we picked 18 for y, x has to be 0 first. That means the other y value has to be 15, and its corresponding x has to be 10. At this point here, I'd grab that calculator, throw it in, let it do the work. 18 minus 15 is, almost put a negative, it's just 3. 0 minus 10, just 10. So we have negative 3/10. 0 minus 10. It would be negative 10 because I'm saying 0, I'm taking 10 away from 0. So we're going below it. Now the negative, we don't like leaving it. I don't like leaving it in the bottom of a fraction. So we either move it to the front or take it, but essentially factor it out of the denominator and multiply it through the numerator. So it's negative 3/10. Does it make sense that the slope is negative? Yeah, well, this here, but in context of the problem, because we're talking about what? How much I owe on the car? I'm making payments. The payment should be going down. So if we interpret the slope, what would we say? So it's negative 3/10 for every what? So how many payments? Because the bottom number is payments, yes? Or x. So for every 10 payments, the balance does what? Goes down. How much? Three. Now there's two things. One, it's like, well, I didn't say anything about the negative, right? Goes down. It's decreasing. It's negative, yes? But it's not just 3. Look at the chart. Balance. What? Thousands of. So is it really going down 3? It's going down what? Yeah, for every 10 payments, the balance goes down 3,000. And we could say $3,000. For every 10 payments, the balance goes down $3,000. No, that makes sense because 10 payments, you're making one payment a month. So you're talking about almost a full year, it's going to go down $3,000. That kind of makes some sense. Because we're saying, because 3/10 as a decimal is 0.3. So we're saying for every month, it's going down $300. That's doable. That's reasonable. Now, it also wanted us to describe the y-intercept, yes? Well, our y-intercept is the point, what, 0, 18. X is our number of payments, yes? So if the number of payments is 0, that means 18 or 18,000 has to be what? The starting amount, because we haven't made a payment on it, so that's how much we owe, yes? So it's the starting amount, the beginning balance, the amount of the loan. So that's all the y-intercept tells us. Questions on interpreting the slope and y-intercept? Okay. Well, this is good for us because we know the slope and the y-intercept, yes? What's our slope? Negative 3/10. What's the y value of the y-intercept? Because this is the y-intercept, yes? So it would be 18. That's our equation. mx plus b, m's our slope, -3/10. B is our y-intercept, so 18. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals -3/10 x plus 18. Last part. How much, what is the remaining balance after 36 payments? Each payment, yes? Well, it goes down 3,000 for every 10 payments. That would be that 3 times, yes? So we know it should be at least how much? So 3 after 30, yes? Less than what we started with, yes? So that means out of 18, we should be at 9,000 because we took 9,000 out, yes? 6 payments, we know we're not going to be at 12. We're not going to take 12 off. We're not going to get down to 6. But I know that whatever the amount is should be between 9 and 6, yes? That's kind of nice to know. Not so much on my test, but especially like on the ACT, they ask something like this, given the equation based off this, after 36 payments, how much would be owed? They have 4 answer choices, yes? So I'm looking for one that would be between 6,000 and 9,000. 36 is closer to 40 payments than it is 30 payments, right? So the answer should be closer to 6,000 than it is 9,000, yes? Relatively speaking. Because we're 6 out of 10 payments away from the next 3,000. Down of what we paid off, yes? Yeah, so let's actually do this here. Looking at this equation, is there any variables on that side? The only variable we have is our y, -3/10 times 36 plus 18. Now, the reason I talked about the other way is, especially on multiple choice tests, they give you 4 answer choices, yes? So that means any of the answer choices that weren't going to be between 6 and 9,000 remaining, we can throw out because they're not correct answers. And especially if you only have one left, we have the final answer. And I can tell you most likely 10,800 would have been a correct answer, or would have been an answer choice. Because how much did we pay off? Well, this is what we started with, yes? We said this is the remaining balance. Because they're going to put, they do stuff like that. They put down, it is part of the problem, that's how much we paid off. That's not what it's asking. Yep. So especially on the ACT, throw logic at it. Stuff like that. Is that the proper way to do it? No. Does it answer on a multiple choice test? Do that. Do it with all the sections. We'll pick this up on Monday.